7 common mistakes that destroy your car accident settlement in Georgia. The insurance company is counting on you to make these mistakes, how to protect yourself from each one. Hi, I'm attorney David Bronze. I started my career working for the insurance companies, and that meant my job was figuring out how to pay people like you, accident victims, as little as possible. Seeing how that system worked from the inside is exactly why I share these videos with you. I want you to know the same tricks I used against people like you so you can protect yourself. And as always, if you ever need to talk to an attorney that you can trust, call us. You can reach us at 678-616-8588. Now let's get into it. Mistake number 1, leaving the scene too early. The first mistake I see all the time is people leaving the accident scene before the police arrive or before everything is properly documented. Even worse, no police report. Here's what happens. The other driver really seems nice at the scene. They're apologetic. They admit it was their fault, and you think everything's going to be fine. A lot of times they'll even say, I'll pay for it, don't worry. So you exchange information and then you go your separate ways. But then a few days later, that same driver talks to their insurance company or maybe their family members, and suddenly their story changes. It's completely different. Now they're the victim. They're saying you were partially at fault, or they're denying responsibility altogether. Once their insurance company hears that, it's over. Without a police report or proper documentation, it becomes your word against theirs. And insurance companies love this situation because they can use it as an excuse to pay you less or deny your claim altogether. Always wait for the police to arrive and get an official report, even if the other driver seems honest and cooperative. Mistake number 2, not documenting your injuries at the scene. The second mistake ties directly into the first one. If you're hurt, you need to at the very least tell the police officer you're injured and also wait for the paramedics to arrive to document your injuries. Even if you don't think you need an ambulance, let them show up, make the notes, and then leave. But here's what the insurance companies do with that information. They'll argue that because you didn't complain of pain at the scene or because you didn't take the ambulance to the hospital, your injuries must not be that serious or you weren't injured altogether. They will use it as ammunition to lower your settlement offer. Now, does this mean your case is worthless if you didn't take the ambulance? No, not at all. But it does give the insurance company a weapon to use against you later, and that can significantly reduce what you recover. Remember, you want that police report to state that you indicated you were injured at the scene. Mistake number 3, giving a recorded statement too soon. And it happens because people are emotional and they just want to get things resolved quickly. Right after the accident, the insurance adjuster for the other side will call you. They're usually very friendly and professional, and they're going to ask, hey, can I take your recorded statement? You think, sure. But here's what I learned on the other side. That recorded statement can absolutely come back to haunt you. When you're emotional and stressed right after an accident, you might, and usually will, say some things that contradict what you say later. Maybe your pain gets worse over the next few days, but you already told the adjuster you feel fine. Or maybe you're not thinking clearly exactly about how the accident happened given all the stress and adrenaline, and you give details that hurt your case. Here's the thing most people don't know. You are not required to give the other driver's insurance company a recorded statement. Your insurance carrier, yeah, but the other drivers, no, you don't have to do it. They might tell you that they won't fix your car unless you do, but that's not true. If they take that position and the other driver is clearly at fault, like in a rear-end collision, or they ran a red light, you have options. The bottom line is don't give a recorded statement without talking to a lawyer first. Mistake number 4, not preserving the event data recorder, or EDR. Modern cars have what's called an event data recorder, kind of like the black box you hear about in airplanes. This device captures critical information about an accident, like how fast you were going, whether they hit their brakes, whether airbags deployed, the speed in the seconds leading up to the crash, and the delta in velocity. This information can be gold for your case. But here's the problem. If the other driver's car gets repaired or destroyed or sold off where you can never find it, that data disappears forever. What you need to do is send a letter to the other driver as soon as possible. We call that a spoliation letter. And in it, you request that they preserve that event data recorder. Now, in some situations, like if you were on a bicycle or you were a pedestrian, that event data recorder might not capture the impact. But it's always better to find out and preserve it just in case, rather than losing that evidence forever. Mistake 5, trusting that friendly insurance adjusters mean fair settlements. Most insurance adjusters, especially at the big companies like State Farm, Geico, Progressive, and Allstate, they're genuinely nice people. They seem like they really care about helping you. But here's what I learned working for the insurance company. companies. There is absolutely zero relationship between someone being nice and then paying your claim fairly. I've dealt with the rudest adjusters in the world who pay out big settlements. And I've also dealt with the most sweetest, nicest adjusters in the world who dragged out cases for months and acted like everything was fine and then denied the claim or made an insulting low offer. You can't relate or depend on one versus the other. You see, the insurance adjusters are trained to be friendly because it works. It makes you let down your guard. It makes you trust them and give them information you shouldn't. It also makes you less likely to hire an attorney. Their job is to save the insurance company money, not to be your friend. Being nice to you costs them nothing, but paying your claim costs them money. Mistake number 6, waiting too long to get medical care. If you're hurt, you need to see a doctor right away. Not in a week, not in a month, not when it gets really bad, right away. I cannot stress this enough. Insurance companies, especially the ones that use claims evaluation software like Colossus, have special formulas and algorithms that calculate the value of your case. One of the biggest factors in those formulas and algorithms is the gap in time between the accident and when you first see medical treatment. Every single day you wait, the software automatically lowers the value of your claim. So even if you're dealing with the sweetest adjuster who's been nothing but kind to you, that software doesn't care. It's going to tell them to offer you less because you waited to get treatment. And the adjuster will use that against you, saying,
"Wow, you waited 8 days to see a doctor, so clearly you weren't that hurt."
if you have health insurance, there's no excuse not to go to an urgent care or the emergency room if you're in pain. Bottom line, you need to get your injuries documented immediately. The only exception to this rule is if the other driver has a very low insurance policy, maybe like $10,000, which is not Georgia, by the way, and your case is clearly worth more than that. In those rare situations, the delay might not hurt you as much, but in most cases, and especially in Georgia, waiting to get medical care will destroy your case's value. Mistake number 7, not consulting with an attorney. I'm not saying every person who gets in an accident needs to hire a lawyer, but if you have significant injuries and your medical bills are piling up, or if the insurance company is giving you the runaround, you at least need to have a consultation with a lawyer who specializes in car accident cases. A good attorney can give you pointers that you never would have thought about that could dramatically increase your settlement. And most personal injury lawyers, me included, offer free consultations. So you literally have nothing to lose and it costs you nothing to at least have that conversation. But if you do decide to hire an attorney, make sure you ask them a few critical, important questions. First, ask if they're going to be handling your case start to finish, or if they're going to be pawning it off onto someone else. Second, ask if they'll send you copies of every email, letter, and document related to your case so you can stay informed. Communication is key. And third, ask if they're willing to file a lawsuit if it becomes necessary. Not every attorney files lawsuits. Some only handle settlement negotiations. And if your case requires litigation, that's what we call lawsuits. To get you fair compensation, you need an attorney or law firm who's willing to file that lawsuit and go to court. Otherwise, you'll end up having to switch attorneys mid-case, which can waste your time and hurt your settlement. The insurance companies know which attorneys file lawsuits and which ones don't, and they're going to treat those attorneys very differently. When my firm files lawsuits, especially with companies like Progressive, the case automatically gets sent to a litigation adjuster who will have more authority, meaning more money, to settle for higher amounts. And that's not a coincidence. It's because the insurance company knows they're now dealing with an attorney who's serious and is going to take that next step. If you've been in a car accident in Georgia, give us a call at 678-616-8588 for a free, and I mean free, consultation. I'll tell you exactly where you stand and what your next step should be. And if you want to know the single biggest mistake that stops most Georgia accident victims from getting paid at all, watch this next video. In it, I'm going to break down the one thing insurance companies hope you never figure out.